Hey everyone, my name is Seth Yelorda, and I'm an organizational development consultant working with individuals and leaders, helping them to experience higher levels of performance. In this episode, I want to talk about why it is so important for you as an individual, or maybe you're a leader, you're leading a team, maybe you're at the C-suite and you're leading an entire organization, why it's so important for you as the leader to have high levels of self-awareness. In your lifetime, you have probably encountered a number of individuals who had low self-awareness. And what that looked like is they go through life and they have interactions and relationships with individuals without fully being aware on the impact that their behavior and decisions are having on the individual. They say things at the wrong time. They do things that are inappropriate. They engage in conversations that really indicate their lack of situational awareness. And along the way of their life and leadership, there are really casualties. You can look back over their life and they can see that as a result of their lack of self-awareness and on some level emotional intelligence, they just have left people with a bad taste in their mouth. Well, I want to say that self-awareness is probably one of the most important characteristics that leaders have in today's society. We need leaders who know themselves, who are aware to their feelings, their thoughts, their emotions. We need leaders who are operating from the highest version of themselves. Individuals who have the ability to emotionally regulate. And if you don't have self-awareness, you won't be able to emotionally regulate. You'll find yourself popping off at people, getting into arguments, throwing tantrums. And what's crazy is that if you don't have self-awareness, you think you have self-awareness and you think that your behavior is justified. But around you, everyone realizes this person really has no idea what they're doing or how they're showing up. And so today I want to talk about how you as a leader do show up and the different options you have as it relates to how you show up and being aware of how you show up so that you can make a very conscious decision on the best way for you to present yourself, whether it's in meetings, whether it's to your family, or as you show up in life. The definition that I found for self-awareness is that it is a conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, desires, and actions. It involves being able to objectively reflect on one's thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, and understands how they align with one's values and beliefs. Self-awareness allows individuals to recognize their strengths and weaknesses, make informed decisions, and adjust their behavior to achieve personal growth and improve relationships with others. It is a foundational element of emotional intelligence, enabling people to better manage their emotions and respond effectively to different situations. If you don't have self-awareness, you really won't be able to grow through life. You'll find yourself making the same mistakes over and over and over again, not really aware of the choices that you're making or the impact that they are having on you or those around you. The emotional choices even that you're making. So self-awareness is really key in order for you to continue to grow and improve as an individual and as a leader. Now, we don't want self-awareness just for the sake of being self-aware. We really want self-awareness so that we can know how we are showing up in life and so that we can make the necessary adjustments so that we can continue to operate from our higher self. Now, Dr. Stephen Karpman came up with a phenomenal framework that I think is really helpful in helping individuals to be able to identify how they are showing up in a particular situation, specifically during times of conflict and stress. This particular framework is called the drama triangle. And in this drama triangle, just imagine a triangle has 3 points to it. And we're going to think about an inverted triangle so that the main point, the top point, is actually at the bottom. And the way that he describes this inverted drama triangle is that at the very bottom of the triangle is where the victim resides. The victim believes that they are powerless and at the mercy of life's circumstances. They are unwilling to take responsibility for what happened in their life. And so Dr. Karpman basically says that One of the 6 ways that you show up in life is as the victim, especially during times of conflict and stress. And when you show up as the victim, you are in a position where you are blaming everyone else for what's happening around you. Now, this is where self-awareness comes in, because when you have self-awareness, you can stop and you can say, wait, why am I playing victim right now? What's happening internally that is causing me to think that I don't have control over my emotions, over my situation, over the circumstances that I am presented with, or over the decisions that I need to make moving forward? So the first thing that Dr. Karpman outlined is you have to be very aware of when you are playing the victim. Now, the victim is at the bottom of this drama triangle. At the left side, the left point of this triangle is where you have the prosecutor. The prosecutor is that individual who thinks that they must win at all cost, and they are controlling others through blame, criticism, and oppression. And so the prosecutor shows up during times of conflict and stress, and they are determined to get their will done, and they will make everyone else pay hell for it if they cannot get what they want accomplished. It's that person on your team, or maybe even that person in your life who is oppressive, they are domineering, they are a hyper driver, right? Nothing's wrong with being a driver, but a hyper driver means I'm so determined to get to my destination, I will roll over and run over everyone in my pathway. If it means I need to jump on a sidewalk in order to avoid this light because I need to get there faster and there's kids on the sidewalk, I will run over those kids in order to reach my destination. That's what a persecutor does. It's that person who says, I'm going to get what I need done no matter what. Self-awareness comes in because what the persecutor does is they leave victims and casualties in their wake. But if you have self-awareness, you're able to say, wait, why am I trying to force this? Why am I so hell-bent on making this happen? What other options do I have? What's going on inside of me where I feel as though this has to be my way right now, the only way? So on one level, he says, one role that you and I play, we play the victim. The other role we play is the prosecutor. On the opposite side of the triangle, on the right side, is where you have the rescuer. The rescuer intervenes on behalf of the victim to save them from perceived harm. They foster dependency by relieving the victim of taking responsibility. So the rescuer shows up and says, during times of conflict and stress, I'm just going to rescue everyone, even if they don't want to be rescued. That's what the rescuer does. And the rescuer thinks that they're helping people, but they're really imposing on people their will, trying to enact what they think the person wants when the person never really asked for their help. The rescuer is that person who, it might be your birthday and they call you and they say, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? And you say, actually, I don't want to do anything. I just want to have a quiet day and stay home and just rest and relax. And the rescuer's like, no, we're going out. And they come to your house, they drag you out the house, they drag you to the club, they drag you to the restaurant, they drag you to places that you really didn't want to go, but they feel like they don't want you to feel sad on your birthday, so they're going to force you to do what they want to do in an attempt to somehow rescue you from yourself. I didn't ask you to take me out. I told you I don't want to go out. I just want a quiet evening. That's the rescuer. The rescuer on your job is that person who shows up and they're determined to help you accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish, even though you told them you don't want their help. It's that person who is a do-gooder to the point where it's actually annoying and it's really frustrating. When you have self-awareness, you're able to regulate. And what Dr. Karpman says is that what you and I do is that we bounce between the victim, the persecutor, and the rescuer. Sometimes in one conversation, sometimes throughout one day, maybe even throughout one meeting, where we're constantly bouncing from victim to persecuting to rescuing to victim. And depending on the circumstance and the individual that we're interacting with, we will find ourselves showing up as either the victim, the persecutor, or the rescuer. When you have self-awareness, you're able to say, wait, why am I showing up as the victim? You're able to actually disassociate and to back out of what's happening and to really just observe your behavior, observe your thoughts. Why am I showing up as the victim? Why do I feel like I need to rescue this person? Why am I trying to make everyone do things my way? And as a result of that, you can then make a conscious choice to shift how you're currently showing up to show up as a higher form of yourself. What Dr. Karpman says is that the bottom triangle, which is inverted, this inverted triangle, you are either the victim, the prosecutor, or the rescuer. But on top of this triangle, a correctly verted triangle, you also have the option to be either a creator, a challenger, or a coach. So what he essentially says is that you can go from victim, who's at the bottom triangle, to creator, which is at the top of the triangle above. The creator focuses on vision and the desired outcomes. They take full responsibility for initiating actions to achieve their desired outcomes. So I really love this because in one sense, you can go from victim to creator. And when you have self-awareness, you're able to say, why am I playing the victim? What about this situation do I feel like I'm powerless or helpless to control? And how do I shift that? Because I am not helpless. I am in full control. I am, in fact, a creator. And so what we want is we want to leverage self-awareness to help us not show up as the victim, but to remain leaning in so that we can always be the creator. The creator says, yes, I might be where I am because of some unfortunate circumstances that have happened to me, but I don't have to stay here. I can create a better life, a better team, and a better outcome for myself. So on the top, you have the creator. But then on the bottom two sides of that triangle, you have on one side the challenger, which sits just above the persecutor. The challenger sparks learning by challenging assumptions and the status quo. They focus on improvement and development by holding people accountable for taking action. So rather than me persecuting people and running over them and bulldozing my way to the finish line, I can challenge people. I can encourage them. I can hold them accountable. I can support them. I can challenge the assumptions that I have and that other people have so that we're actually able to achieve a higher level of performance. On the other side of this drama triangle is the coach. And the coach empowers people through inquiry to help them gain clarity. So rather than me showing up as a rescuer, trying to rescue you from staying home, I'm going to show up as a coach and say, oh, wow, why do you want to stay home? What's going on? How are you feeling? What is happening inside of you that's leading you to just want to stay home? Now, there's nothing wrong with staying home for your birthday, but I want to be able to ask reflective questions that if there is something below the surface, I can pull that out of the individual, not by driving it out of them, but just by asking certain questions to help the person gain clarity to how they are currently feeling. Self-awareness allows you to move from victim, prosecutor, rescuer to coach, challenger, creator. And when you are operating as a creator, as a challenger, and as a coach, your team and your life will experience higher levels of performance. So it's not just self-awareness for self-awareness sake. It's actually self-awareness so that we can show up at a higher level and really position ourselves for peak performance, both at work and in life. Now, you might be asking, well, how do I develop self-awareness? And that's a great question. And I just firmly believe that really one of the strongest ways to develop self-awareness is through therapy and through coaching. You have to be able to submit your thoughts and your mindset to someone else who can ask you certain questions to help you really discover who you are and how you're showing up. So if you want to grow as a leader and as an individual, you have to have someone in your life who can help you with your self-awareness. And they do this by providing you feedback. This is what I heard you say. This is how I see you showing up. This is how I'm experiencing you. Now, that can be friends, it can be family, it can be a spouse, but really having someone in a professional setting who can actually provide you that professional feedback is really ideal. I work with leaders all the time, and the high-performing leaders are always asking me, Seth, I really want your feedback. What are you seeing me do? And are there any things that I could do differently or better going forward? So self-awareness is there for the purpose of helping you to identify which spot on this drama triangle are you falling in, and how can you shift and move from the drama triangle to the empowerment triangle, where now you are showing up as a creator, as a challenger, and as a coach. And if you can consistently do that in your interactions with others and on a big level, and really how you do that for yourself, I can almost guarantee you that you will rise above the rest and be successful at whatever you do, because you are constantly showing up as your highest self. Listen, I hope this episode was helpful. And again, I would invite you to visit my website, Vision Clarity Consulting, where you can find more tools and resources. And if you would love to schedule a session with me where we can explore what are your goals, what are some of your roadblocks, and possibly how are you showing up, I would love to have that conversation with you. So you can always go to my website and you can schedule a time for us to talk. I pray that as you go into this new week, that you will continue to grow as a leader and as an individual so that you can accomplish all the things that you set your heart to do. Have a wonderful day.